In Montford, Florida, there was a 9-year-old little girl named Jamaria Sessions, whose life should have been filled with laughter and joy, focused on making new friends and exploring the world around her. Instead, she lived under a heavy cloud of anxiety due to her dad's girlfriend. This woman treated her cold and indifferent, showing affection only to her biological children, which left Jamaria feeling utterly alone and unwanted. For months, Jamaria felt the weight of the tension in the house. Every sharp word from her dad's girlfriend cut through the air, and dismissive glances made Jamaria feel invisible. While the girlfriend's children received praise and encouragement, Jamaria faced a constant barrage of criticism. She learned to walk on eggshells, always careful not to say or do anything that might provoke anger. Jamaria's dad was aware of the mounting tension, but chose to ignore it. At times, he even encouraged his girlfriend's harsh behavior, insisting that Jamaria should be more disciplined. This left her feeling betrayed. She watched him laugh and smile with his girlfriend and her kids, wishing for a moment of kindness directed at her. Instead of making friends and forging connections outside of the home, she felt like a shadow in her own life, always lurking, always trying to be unseen, yet desperate for attention and love. Every room in this house of horrors felt stifling. The air buzzed with unspoken fears, and the atmosphere was thick with negativity. The walls, instead of offering comfort, seemed to amplify Jamaria's sense of isolation. With no safe place to retreat to, she felt trapped in a world that should have been her sanctuary. The corners of her life, once bright with possibilities, and the promise of new friendships, became dark and suffocating. As months dragged on, the oppressive environment became unbearable. The flicker of hope Jamaria once held began to fade, replaced by a growing sense of despair. Jamaria wanted to believe that things could change, that her dad would finally see her pain and take action to protect her. But as days turned into weeks and weeks into months, she started to feel that nothing would ever improve. The silence in the house grew louder, filled with her unexpected fears, and harsh words turned into kicks, punches, and slaps. In her heart, Jamaria clung to a small dream, moments when she was once happy, when laughter would fill the air, and when she could play freely with her friends. She imagined sunny days at the park, surrounded by kids who cared and included her in their games. But those moments grew fewer and farther in between, and her spirit began to fade. The love and connection she craved seemed forever out of reach, leaving her feeling defeated. Ultimately, her life was cut tragically short. In those final brutal moments, Jamaria's struggle for safety and love revealed the devastating consequences of neglect and indifference. The laughter and joy that should have filled her life vanished, leaving behind a deafening silence where a vibrant childhood should have blossomed. This is the story of Jamaria Faith Sessions. Jamaria Faith Sessions, affectionately referred to as Mari, was born on January 15th, 2015, the eldest of two daughters born to parents, Tadrina Dort and LaJuan Sessions. Mari was a beautiful, smart, and loving little girl that loved her family, especially her little sister. Mari was known to be her sister's keeper. When you saw one, you almost always saw the other. Mari, along with her sister, were students at the Grassy Lake Elementary School. She liked to sing, wear different colors in her hair, and make videos with her sister. Mari had big dreams of one day becoming a veterinarian. Tadrina was a single mother, raising her two daughters on her own, with the help and support of her family. Tadrina, Mari, and Mari's little sister had a beautiful bond. Tadrina absolutely loved and adored her daughters. Tadrina and LaJuan were no longer together and had a tumultuous relationship while trying to co-parent, and it got a whole lot worse when LaJuan started dating Tyshell Martin. Tyshell Martin had two older daughters from a previous relationship and a daughter whom she shared with LaJuan Sessions. And during my investigation, I discovered LaJuan only had 2 pictures of Mari on his social media accounts, none of Mari's sister, but several of the child that he shared with Tyshell Martin. At some point, Tadrina was diagnosed with leukemia, and during her difficult battle with this horrible disease, she tried twice to get injunctions against Tyshell Martin due to ongoing violence, threats, and harassment. Tadrina's mom, Miss Althea Chenault, painfully described one incident of harassment towards her daughter. During one of Tadrina's hospital stays, Tyshell Martin took to Facebook to write disgusting messages, wishing death on her, a clear indication of a woman with a black heart and a rotten soul. Unfortunately, Tadrina lost her battle with congestive heart failure in September of 2022 after bravely overcoming leukemia at just 24 years old. Following her passing, Mari and her younger sister were placed in the sole custody of their maternal grandmother, Miss Althea Chenault. During this time, LaJuan Sessions was facing legal troubles, particularly involving incidents related to children. In January of 2019, Sessions was accused of fleeing from a Haines City Police Department officer after the officer discovered a bag of illegal substances in plain view inside of the vehicle he was driving during a traffic stop. The officer had placed the bag of the suspected illegal substances on the roof of Sessions' car and asked him to exit the car. Instead, Sessions put the car in drive and sped off. He collided with the car driven by an undercover Polk County deputy and subsequently crashed into a palm tree. Tyshell Martin was in the passenger seat, holding a small unrestrained child in her lap, while 3 young girls were in the back seat, not wearing seatbelts, resulting in 2 children being airlifted to Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children. And according to court documents, Jamaria was not among those children. LaJuan Sessions was arrested on multiple charges, including 4 counts of child neglect, possession of illegal substances with the intent to sell, trafficking in illegal substances, possession of a vehicle while trafficking, possession of marijuana, fleeing from a law enforcement at high speed, possession of a paraphernalia, and driving with a suspended license. He later pleaded guilty, as recorded in court documents, and received a sentence of 5 years in prison, followed by 5 years of probation. Following his release from prison, Sessions went to the Grassy Lake Elementary School in Orange County and picked up Jamaria and her younger sister, without Althea's knowledge or permission, in October of 2023. And in December of 2023, Mari's sister moved in with LaJuan's mother due to the problems she was causing in the relationship between Tyshell and LaJuan. And according to affidavits in this case, the Lake County Sheriff's Office believed Mari's mistreatment began shortly after she started living with the couple. In December, a school resource officer at Grassy Lake Elementary noticed that Mari and her sister were frequently missing school, prompting him to request a welfare check. A deputy visited their home and spoke with Lawan. During the conversation, Lawan attributed the girls' absences to the impact of their mother's passing, suggesting that they were struggling to cope with the loss. He indicated that the emotional aftermath of their mother's death was affecting their ability to attend school regularly. In March, the Florida Department of Children and Families contacted the sheriff's office after receiving anonymous complaints and complaints from Mari's family regarding concerns that Tyshell might be mistreating Mari's younger sister. According to Lieutenant Harrell, the call has become the subject of an open administrative investigation due to concerns of how the employees handled it. That same month, Mari was taken to the hospital with severe bite wounds from Tyshell Martin's dog. A neighbor told news sources that they had previously contacted animal control about the dogs and had also reported concerns to DCF. Some residents in the neighborhood grew increasingly concerned in May when they noticed the girls were once again out of school. The sheriff's office reported that there had been other calls to DCF regarding this home, although a few were considered too vague to warrant further investigation. On May 31st, Tyshell Martin, along with her biological children, Mari and her mother, traveled to Miami, where they stayed until June 2nd in preparation for a cruise. They were set to return on June 9th. Lawan Sessions did not join the cruise due to being on felony probation. And on June 10th, Tyshell Martin texted Lawan claiming that her mother took Mari back to California with her, but it was later revealed that that was untrue. Lawan Sessions, who no longer resided in the household due to domestic disputes, went to the home in Mount Verde that very same evening. However, over the course of the next few days, he did not see or hear from Mari, and he believed that she was in California with Tyshell's mother. On June 12th, Lawan and Tyshell had an argument during which she sprayed him with bug spray while he was sleeping, and he left the following day, leaving Mari behind. On June 16th, Tyshell drove Mari to the airport with others to catch a flight to California. They stopped at a store where Tyshell gave Mari a Gatorade and a banana because she was not feeling well. After eating the banana, Mari vomited, and when they arrived at the airport, Mari expressed discomfort while walking through the parking lot. Tyshell attempted to find a wheelchair, which caused them to miss the flight. The flight was rescheduled for June 25th, and they returned home to Montverde. And sometime after returning home, a person whose name was redacted from the affidavit claimed she was doing Mari's hair using boiling water from a kettle. Allegedly, she saturated Mari's hair with boiling water to straighten it, which she claimed accidentally landed on her right foot. The person later told detectives that Mari did not complain of pain and was wearing a compression sock due to a prior ankle injury. No one took Mari for medical treatment for the burn or the ankle injury. And on June 16th, when the sock was removed from her foot, it took off the skin where the boiling water had landed. Shortly before 5 a.m. on June 17th, Lake County EMS was dispatched to 16017 Harbor Oaks Drive in Montverde after receiving a report of an unresponsive child, believed to have been made by Tyshell Martin.
My child is not she's not breathing and she's swollen and she's not responding.
And the 911 dispatcher coaches her on how to give CPR until the paramedics arrive.
She's not responding.
I understand, but this is the best we can do right now till they arrive. You're doing fantastic. This is helping.
Upon arrival, they quickly determined that Mari was deceased. During their assessment, they observed multiple injuries on Jamaria's body, including a significant number of abrasions, small puncture wounds, burns, possible bite marks, and bruising in various stages of healing. Lake EMS requested that Lake County Sheriff's Office respond after noticing rigor mortis in Jamaria's jaw. When questioned about what happened to Mari, Tyshell told authorities that she woke up that morning to catch a flight to California with Mari and several other children to meet up with Mari's father, Jamaria Sessions, who had left for California just a few days earlier. This statement was later determined to be false when Jamaria Sessions arrived on the scene shortly after. When Jamaria Sessions arrived on the scene, he appeared to be shocked to learn that his daughter had been at the residence since June 9th, as he believed that she was in California, allegedly. He informed detectives that he and Tyshell had been arguing recently, which had strained their relationship and prompted him to move in with his mother in Ocoee. During the investigation, authorities interviewed several people surrounding Mari's death, one being Tyshell's 17-year-old daughter. She informed detectives that she, her mother, and LaJuan frequently used physical discipline on Mari. This include wall sits, running in place, treadmill exercises, and hitting her with objects both above and below the waist, as well as depriving her of toys and electronics. During interviews with the Department of Children and Families, it was disclosed that while each child had their own room, Mari was often forced to sleep on the sofa or on a crib mattress in another child's room. Detectives also discovered that Tyshell Martin had been alone in a room with Mari throughout the night of June 16th until Mari was found deceased. Tyshell claimed that she had been asleep from 6 p.m. on June 16th until 4 a.m. on June 17th, except for a brief phone call from her mother at midnight. However, evidence later contradicted this claim. During a preliminary examination of Mari by the medical examiner, multiple injuries consistent with maltreatment were observed across her small body. These include superficial lacerations indicative of being pinched with significant force, facial swelling, broken teeth, blood in her left ear, a penetrating wound behind her ear, and numerous contusions. During a formal interview about Jamaria's injuries, Tyshell explained that they resulted from falling off the treadmill and down a flight of stairs. She also claimed that the lacerations were a reaction to an unknown cause. To investigate further, a blood detection method called Blue Star Forensic was applied to the treadmill and nearby areas, but no blood was found. However, blood was discovered on the stairs and in the master bathtub and in a hallway leading to a closet, indicating a significant event had occurred. According to court documents, on June 17th, Tyshell consented to a search of her cell phone, which revealed images of the brutal mistreatment of Jamaria, as well as messages in which someone accused Tyshell of mistreatment. Other messages showed that Tyshell often bragged about the creative ways she disciplined Jamaria. And on June 18th, during Jamaria's autopsy, the medical examiner noted numerous superficial injuries covering most of her body, suggesting they were inflicted intentionally. The autopsy also revealed that Jamaria suffered from rhabdomyolysis, a condition related to rapid breakdown of muscle tissue. The medical examiner deemed Jamaria Sessions' death as a homicide after concluding that she died of multiple blunt injuries to the head, torso, and extremities, and thermal injury of the right foot. On June 20th, DCF filed for a dependency shelter hearing. 5 days later, on June 25th, a judge issued a ruling that Tyshell was prohibited from having contact with the children. However, the very next day, the caretaker reported that Tyshell had been reaching out to the children via cell phones and other devices, and in response, the devices were confiscated and a search warrant was issued to examine the children's devices. According to court documents, during the investigation, detectives executed a search warrant to obtain video footage from the family's home security system. One set of recordings from the night of June 15th reportedly shows Jamaria being viciously attacked by the family's 103-pound Rottweiler, while Tyshell Martin allegedly directing the attack while holding the dog's leash. But the attack didn't stop there. The brutality escalated. After the months-long investigation, and after sifting through video footage, text messages, and conducting interviews, it was concluded that Jamaria Sessions was a victim of continuous and prolonged abuse at the hands of Tyshell Martin, and she was arrested on the evening of August 29th near her Montford home and subsequently charged with the murder of Jamaria Sessions. I'm going to warn you, what you're about to hear is very disturbing.
Lake County authorities have arrested a woman in the murder of a 9-year-old girl.
That's right. Tyshell Martin was dating and at times living with the girl's father, but Martin is the only one charged. West 2 News investigative reporter Greg Fox has the disturbing details about this case.
No answer at this home in a middle-class neighborhood near Lake Apopka's North Shore, but the Lake County Sheriff's Office says inside, 9-year-old Jamaria Sessions was tortured, beaten, burned, bitten, and kicked until she died June 17th.
There's just really no way to wrap one's mind around this. When you read this type of abuse and this type of behavior, there's no answers. No matter what type of answers we get, it's not going to explain it. It's not going to account for it. It's just literally unfathomable.
I already have a private attorney.
You have a private attorney? Okay.
34-year-old Tyshell Martin has been arrested and charged with murder. She's the girlfriend of the child's father, who, so far, is not a suspect in this deadly abuse case. The girl attended Grassy Lake Elementary School with at least one of her siblings. I talked with some of the neighbors here, and they didn't want to talk to us on camera, but they did say that it was not unusual for animal control and law enforcement to be here at this home. The arrest affidavit reveals some answers. Security cameras in the home not only captured physical abuse, but at one point, Sessions being viciously attacked by the family pet, a 103-pound male Rottweiler, as Jamaria was just out of frame. However, Tyshell Martin could be seen holding the leash of the dog and is heard encouraging the dog to bite Jamaria Sessions as Jamaria laid on the floor. Detectives say the home's security videos show constant abuse.
They got the act of Tyshell Martin severely, savagely beating Jamaria in the nights leading up to her death.
Martin is being held without bond, pending her arraignment next month. In Lake County, Greg Fox, West 2 News.
West 2 News tried to speak with Jamaria Sessions' father, but he did not return our messages.
In the beginning of this story, I talked about Mari's dad, LaJuan Sessions, and the role he played in her untimely demise. How he moved out of the home and left his daughter with this monster. Well, according to the arrest affidavit, although he was not believed to have been present when Jamaria died, it stated that he had allowed Tyshell Martin to mistreat his daughter excessively and on several occasions even encouraged or participated in the brutality himself. And just 2 days after her arrest, he too was arrested and charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child.
Lawan Sessions was arrested today on child abuse allegations. His girlfriend is already behind bars. She's charged with murdering 9-year-old Jamaria Sessions. Deputies say this is one of the worst cases of child abuse they've ever seen. Stephanie Buffamonte spoke exclusively with Jamaria's grandmother. So Stephanie, she's Jamaria's paternal grandmother, which means she's also Lawan Sessions' mother. What does she have to say about all this?
She tells me that if her son is found guilty, he's going to have to pay for his crimes and pay for being involved in his own daughter's murder. She says knowing what she does now, she wishes she could have done more.
She was failed. It does not matter. She didn't tell me. I didn't see it. When I saw her, she didn't have any bruises on her.
Roxana Payne's son, Lawan Sessions, is charged with aggravated manslaughter in the death of his daughter, 9-year-old Jamaria Sessions. Lawan's girlfriend, Tyshell Martin, was arrested earlier this week for murdering the little girl.
For his part, he has to pay. For her part, she has to pay.
Court records say Jamaria was tortured, brutally beaten, and died from multiple injuries, including blunt force trauma to her head and torso in June. According to the arrest affidavit, evidence on his phone shows Lawan did encourage, suggest, plan, permit, and assist Martin in extreme physical abuse. In text messages, he and Martin joked about the abuse and made comments about boot camp and creating a torturous environment where Jamaria would suffer long sessions of extreme exercise and abuse.
In October, a notice of intent file states that Tyshell Martin could face the death penalty if convicted of first-degree murder. The assistant state attorney highlighted 5 aggravating factors that would justify seeking the death penalty, including the particular heinous nature of the crime, the victim's age under 12 years old, and the vulnerability due to Tyshell Martin's position of custodial authority. I can't imagine the pain of not only losing a child, but also losing a grandchild just 2 years later, especially when that grandchild was the child of the one you've already lost. My heart goes out to this family, and I've been praying for their healing. Miss Althea Chenault and her entire family truly needs our support right now. And if Jamaria's family happens to see this message, please know, while I may not have much, I'm here for you. If there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Sessions for aggravated manslaughter of a child.
You're supposed to protect your kids, and he didn't protect her. He let her down.
I spoke with Althea Chenault at her home a day after Jamaria's father, Lawan, was arrested for his daughter's death. He was arrested 2 days after his girlfriend, Martin, who deputies say tortured and physically abused Jamaria up until her death back in June.
We miss her, man, and we miss especially the one that's never come up. We never gonna see her again. Last time I saw her was the day you took her from school alive. Next time I saw her in the casket.
It's your eternity. Chenault says Jamaria loved animals, wanted to be a veterinarian, and was inseparable from her little sister.
She was her sister keeper, because they was every time you see one, you see the other. That was the sweetest little girl in the world. And then when she went to her other grandmother's house, they saw the marks on her and just brushed it off like nothing.
Chenault says for years, signs of abuse were apparent. She says since her daughter tragically died in 2022, she's been back and forth with Child Protective Services to get custody of the girls.
I blame the system, yes I do. CPS and the courts, because if they would have just one person care in their heart about this child and listen to us, what we were saying, she wouldn't be dead right now.
It's truly heartbreaking to see the devastating rise in children being killed by their parents, or their parents' partners. The fact that these tragedies are happening at an alarming rate is almost unimaginable. Each life is lost is a reminder to the urgent need for change and awareness. We cannot stay silent. We have to stand up and speak out and fight for the safety and well-being of our children. It's time for us to come together and make sure that this stops.
Sessions for aggravated manslaughter of a child.
You're supposed to protect your kids, and he didn't protect her. He let her down.
I spoke with Althea Chenault at her home a day after Jamaria's father, Lawan, was arrested for his daughter's death. He was arrested 2 days after his girlfriend, Martin, who deputies say tortured and physically abused Jamaria up until her death back in June.
We miss him, and we miss especially the one that's never come up. We never gonna see her again. Last time I saw her was the day he took her from school alive. Next time I saw her in the casket.
It's your Saturday. Chenault says Jamaria loved animals, wanted to be a veterinarian, and was inseparable from her little sister.
She was her sister keeper, because they was every time you see one, you see the other. That was the sweetest little girl in the world. And then when she went to her other grandmother's house, they saw the marks on her and just brushed it off like nothing.
Chenault says for years, signs of abuse were apparent. She says since her daughter tragically died in 2022, she's been back and forth with Child Protective Services to get custody of the girls.
I blame the system, yes I do. CPS and the courts, because if they would have just one person care in their heart about this child and listen to us, what we were saying, she wouldn't be dead right now.
As of the date of this recording, both Tyshell Martin and Lawan Sessions are being held at the Lake County Jail with no bond. This case is still actively ongoing, but if I hear or see any new substantial developments, I will come back and update you guys. This is purely speculation on my part, but I feel like everybody in that house either joined in with the brutality inflicted upon Mari, or they just simply didn't give a damn. And I also believe that more arrests will be made as this case progresses. Let me know your thoughts of this story in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay vigilant. If you see something, please say something. By doing so, you could be saving a child's life.